They say in the heart of ancient Africa, there was a village so rich in gold that even their goats wore bells made of pure silver. But riches often blind the eye, and greed can rot the soul faster than any curse. This is the story of a village that mocked a poor orphan boy, only to learn too late that he carried something far more precious than gold. Long ago, nestled in the lush green hills of West Africa, stood the village of Ajula. Surrounded by rivers that sang through valleys and trees that whispered ancient secrets, Ajula wasn't just wealthy, it was blessed. Ajula's fame spread far and wide. Traders from Mali, Nigeria, Ghana, and beyond came to barter for their gold-inlaid fabric, ivory sculptures, and spices that could make even a king dance. But as the village prospered, something else began to grow. Quietly, slowly, like a weed in a garden, greed. The village was led by Chief Okuta, a man once known for his wisdom but now obsessed with expanding his treasure vault. He'd once fed beggars with open arms. Now, he taxed even rainwater from rooftops. The children played with carved toys of ivory. Women wore bracelets so heavy they clinked like wind chimes in the market. The men built walls higher and higher, not to protect, but to outdo each other. Still, they believed they were blessed. "We give thanks," they'd say. But their hearts beat louder for wealth than for warmth. That was when he came, a boy no older than 10, barefoot, eyes wide like he'd seen every secret of the stars. The sun was setting when he appeared, a silhouette against the amber glow, carrying nothing but a torn satchel and a carved wooden staff far too big for someone his size. He walked barefoot into Ajula, his steps quiet, his face unreadable, except for his eyes that shimmered like the river under moonlight, eyes that held stories he hadn't yet told. The villagers paused. Some stared. Others whispered. Children giggled. "Who is he?" asked a young boy. "He looks cursed," hissed an elder. "No child wanders alone unless he's running from something," muttered another. But the boy said nothing. He only stood by the well, dipped his small hands into the water, and drank. Then came Mama Zainab. She was old, her back curved like a river bend, but her spirit, stronger than any gold-plated spear in Ajula. She sold herbs at the edge of the market and spoke with the wind. Many called her mad, others called her the keeper of lost things. When she saw the boy, her cloudy eyes softened. "Hungry?" she asked. The boy nodded once. She took his hand and led him to her hut made of mud and woven leaves, smaller than a trader's cart, but warm like a storyteller's heart. That night, she gave him yam and palm oil, washed his feet, and sang him a lullaby older than memory. The next day, word spread. "Zainab has taken in a stranger boy. Doesn't she know he might be a thief? Or a spirit in disguise?" Chief Okuta summoned her. "Zainab," he said, "why bring a stranger into our blessed land? Do you not fear curses?" She smiled. "You fear curses. I fear cold hearts. This boy has done no wrong." The chief warned her. "If anything bad happens, we will remember who brought him here." Days passed. The boy, whom Zainab named Dogo, meaning little one, spoke very little but listened deeply. He tended Zainab's garden, which began to grow twice as fast. Tomatoes the size of fists, corn that sang when the wind passed. Her goats, which hadn't birthed in years, suddenly bore healthy twins. Villagers noticed. They began to whisper, again, but this time with envy. "Maybe the boy is using juju. Zainab is probably hiding some gold. What if the boy brings only blessings to her and curses to us?" They didn't see the boy's kindness. How he fetched water for elders, how he cleaned the market path before dawn, how he shared food even when he had none. They only saw what they lacked. One market day, A wealthy merchant's son fell and broke his arm. Villagers murmured, "It's because of that cursed boy." The chief's crops failed once. He ordered a meeting of the village elders. "This child is not one of us," he said. "Ajula's fortune is falling because of outsiders." Mama Zainab defended Dogo with fire in her eyes, but few listened. A storm was coming, not from the sky, but from poisoned hearts. Ajula was no longer the peaceful village it once was. Though gold still glistened and markets still hummed, something darker brewed beneath the laughter. The villagers watched, Dogo from behind woven curtains. They turned their faces when he passed. Mothers pulled their children close, fathers muttered warnings. But Dogo, he remained the same, silent, kind, and ever helpful. One afternoon, old Baba Olu lost his cane. The village searched but found nothing. Dogo walked up to a mango tree, reached into its roots, and pulled the cane out. "How did he know?" people whispered. "No one told him where it was." When Mamiara's blind rooster returned after a month, she found a small pouch, tied to its leg. Inside, 3 cowries and a note in perfect handwriting. "For your patience, the sky rewards." She had never taught Dogo to write. No one had. Rumors exploded. He's not just a beggar, he's a spirit. Or a witch. We must act before he ruins us all. Zainab, growing frail but firm, demanded to speak before the village. "What has this boy truly done?" she asked. "Helped the old, healed the sick, watered your trees. Things you forgot to do when your gold made you blind." The chief stood up. "He brings imbalance. Before he came, our prosperity was unshaken." She answered, "Perhaps your prosperity was built on dry hearts. Now the rains come to test what grows." But fear had poisoned their judgment. And when fear dances with pride, even wise men grow foolish. That night, many villagers had the same dream. A river running dry, trees weeping blood, gold melting into black smoke. At the center stood Dogo, his eyes glowing like moonfire. He said only one word, "Choose." By morning, people were shaking, panicked, angry. "He cursed our dreams. He's warning us, threatening us. This ends now." Drums echoed at sunset. The village gathered near the sacred Iroko tree. Torches lit, eyes narrow, spears ready. Zainab stood beside Dogo, one hand gripping his shoulder. Her voice trembled, but not from fear. "He is a child, an orphan, and you call yourselves protectors? Shame on every hand that throws stones at mercy." But the chief raised his staff. "We gave you warning, Zainab. If anything else happens, he must leave." Zainab looked into Dogo's eyes. "Whatever happens, child, remember, those who sow kindness reap storms, but storms pass. Kindness stays." Dogo nodded, still silent, still calm. That night, Dogo placed something under Zainab's bed, a small wooden box carved with crescent moons and suns. "Don't open it until the first rooster crows," he whispered. It was the first full sentence he had spoken aloud since arriving. Zainab didn't ask questions. She only smiled and said, "I trust you." Morning arrived like a clenched fist. The rooster crowed, but the peace it usually signaled never came. Mama Zainab awoke to a strange warmth under her bed. She reached beneath and found the box Dogo had left. Slowly, carefully, she opened it. Inside, wrapped in banana leaves, was a single gold coin, so bright, so pure, it glowed with its own light. Beneath it lay a folded note. "To the one who gave before she was asked. When rivers run dry, may your well always overflow." Tears welled in her old eyes. "You were sent to us," she whispered, "a gift we didn't deserve." But elsewhere in the village, greed had awakened. Earlier, 3 boys, sons of envious traders, had followed Dogo the night before, hiding in the shadows. They had seen the glow from the box and watched where he placed it. And just before dawn, they crept into Zainab's hut while she slept. They stole the golden coin, but as soon as their fingers touched it, they screamed. The coin hissed, turning black in their hands. Flames licked their palms, but left no burn, only an unbearable heat inside their hearts. They dropped it and fled, howling like wolves. One ran into the forest and was never seen again. Then the other 2 were found shaking near the village gate, their eyes glazed over. By the time the villagers rushed to Zainab's hut, Dogo was gone. No footprints, no broken branches, no trace. Only the coin remained, now dull and cracked. Zainab sat silently beside it, her face a storm without thunder. "You let fear win," she said softly. "Now let us see what fear will give you in return." That same afternoon the skies turned. Clouds rolled in thick and dark, but no rain fell. The village well, once deep and ever-flowing, dried up within hours. Goats and cows refused to feed. Fruit began to rot on trees before ripening. And worst of all, the village gold, the very pride of Ajula, started to vanish. Coins faded into dust, jewels turned brittle, traders opened locked chests to find only cobwebs and silence. Panic erupted. "We've been cursed. The boy, he did this. Where is he? Bring him back." But Dogo was gone, and no one, not even the old hunter who knew every path, could find even a whisper of his trail. At the next village gathering, all eyes turned to Zainab. She stood before them, her face gaunt, her spirit still strong. "You chased away a gift," she said. "You mocked grace and spat on mercy. You fed your greed, and now it feeds on you." Dogo was no spirit, no witch. He was a mirror. And what you saw scared you, because you saw yourselves. The villagers said nothing. What could they say? For the first time in Ajula's history, there was no laughter, no trading, no singing. But all was not lost. One girl, Amira, the daughter of the village potter, had always watched Dogo from afar. She had once given him a single kola nut the day he first arrived. She remembered where he often sat by the river, watching the birds. And there, beneath a small pile of flat stones, she found a second box, smaller than Zainab's, with her name carved on top. Inside, a feather, a dried kola nut, and a note. Kindness does not ask to be noticed. It simply gives. When your people are ready to receive again, I will return. Ajula was no longer a village of gold. It had become a shadow of its former self. But from the ashes of regret sometimes sprouts the seed of change. Chief Aid, once proud and stubborn, sat silently in the village square with the council of elders. "We were warned, not by thunder or fire, but by a boy with no voice," he said. Elder Yagazi nodded. "We did not see the gift because it came wrapped in rags, not robes." They decided it was time to humble themselves, to search, not just for Dogo, but for forgiveness. And so, a mission was planned. To journey into the surrounding lands, through riverbanks, forests, and mountains, seeking the one they had wronged. Amira, the girl who had found the second box, stepped forward. "I believe he left clues. The feather, the kola nut, each means something." Her father objected. "You are just a child." But Zainab stood beside her and said, "So, was he?" And so, with the elder's blessing, Amira became the leader of the searchers. Their journey would take them far beyond Ajula, to forgotten temples, talking trees, and ancient lands hidden by time. Their first stop, the Forest of Echoes, a place where voices from the past whispered on the wind. They walked silently. Every crunch of the leaf, every breath seemed amplified. Suddenly, they heard it. A faint, melodic humming. The tune, Dogo used to whistle. Amira followed the sound. There, on a stone, was a small piece of cloth, his old wrapper. Beneath it, a message etched in the stone bark of a sacred iroko tree. Only when pride is shed like old skin can the path forward be seen. The villagers knelt, offering cowries and honest prayers. But the forest remained silent. Their next challenge lay at the river Obu, famous for being alive. The river listened, tested, and sometimes swallowed. To cross, one must tell a truth they've never admitted, not to others, but to themselves. One by one, they stepped to the bank. Chief Aid whispered, "I loved my gold more than my people." The river rippled softly and parted. Amira stepped forward, voice trembling. "I wished he'd talk to me. I was scared to be kind openly." The river gently allowed her through. But one villager lied. The river rose violently, and only Zainab's loud cry saved him. "Truth is the key, not performance," she shouted. Atop Mountain Woke, they found an ancient shrine, home of the mirror flame, a mystical fire that revealed your soul. To see Dogo again, they had to look into the fire and face their own reflections, both beautiful and broken. The fire did not burn skin, but it scorched ego. Many wept, some turned away. But those who stayed, Amira, Zainab, Chief Aid, saw something more. Not Dogo, not his shadow, but their own hands building huts, sharing food, listening, smiling. And a faint message danced in the flames. He is in you, always has been. When the group returned to Ajula, things had changed. Not the gold, not the trees, but the people. Children helped elders carry baskets. Traders bartered with fairness. Songs returned to the evening fire. Zainab's hut became the new school. Amira was named guardian of the river. And each year on the day Dogo first arrived, the village gathered beneath the iroko tree. They laid out food, coins, and stories, not for a boy who disappeared, but for the spirit of kindness they now understood. One evening, many years later, Amira, now grown, sat by the same riverside. A soft whistle floated through the air. She turned and saw a boy in rags carrying a small bundle of kola nuts. He smiled, bowed slightly, and walked into the forest. Was it Dogo reborn, a trick of the wind, or a message? She smiled back, whispering, "We're ready this time." And so, in the land of Ajula, the tale of the silent boy lives on. Not because he had gold, not because he cursed or blessed, but because he taught a whole village that true wealth is the kindness we carry. And if you ever find a coin glowing in the night, ask not who left it, ask who needs it next. Thanks for watching. Hoped you liked it. If you watched till the end, please comment "awesome" so that we could understand you were with us till the end. As well as, please let us know where are you watching from. Before leaving, please hit the subscribe button, comment your thought, and share with your nearest and dearest one. See you in the next one. Until to the next one, stay happy. Goodbye.